Welcome back to my lecture series. This is Muthuminal R, Assistant Professor from the Department of Agricultural Engineering at SNS College of Technology. Today we'll see the topic on disaster mitigation that comes under the unit Approaches to Disaster Risk Reduction under the subject Disaster Management for the students of final year 7th semester. Before going into the section, let us have a small recap on what we have seen at the previous classes. We have seen about disaster cycle and the stages that comes under disaster cycle like preparedness, mitigation, response and recovery. And also we have seen the impact of disaster cycle during the occurrence of disaster. And at the next topic we have seen how we can reduce the risk that can happen under disaster risk reduction concept. Today we'll see about the disaster mitigation. Before going into the disaster mitigation process, we have to initially understand what is the mitigation of disaster. Because we all do know that we will take some preventive measures before the occurrence of disaster, or the impacts that gonna happen during the disaster could be avoided. So this comes under the disaster mitigation. This could only be done through three methods, that is proactive measures, diverse approaches and the prevent investment. Under the proactive measures, what we can do in the sense, it involves the anticipatory actions to minimize the risk and impact before a crisis strikes. This includes both structural and non-structural interventions. So here I like to state you certain example, like during the occurrence of an earthquake, what happens, what we'll do. While during the earthquake occurrence, we'll feel a vibration of the structural element and we will immediately come outside of that building and stay in the open ground. So here that response of occurrence of that disaster will save our life. Here what we are gonna do in the sense, in order to avoid the collapsing of that structural element, we are going to incorporate the earthquake resistant structure so that the collapse could be avoided. So these are the proactive measures that can happen. So this could be achieved through several approaches, that is diverse approaches. Some of the examples include flood dikes, earthquake resistant structures, tornado shelters, structural methods that will help us to encompass land use zoning, updated building codes and comprehensive public awareness campaigns. Along with these two measures, what we have to also consider is the prevent investments. That is, in this, we can investing in mitigation is economically sound and life saving. So for saving, for example, Winnipeg's Red River floodway cost euro of 47 million, but prevented an estimate of 4.7 billion in damages during 1997 floods. This helps us to highlight the immense return on investment. So here I like to quote you an interactive aerial imagery with the help of impact and recovery during the occurrence of disaster. As you guys can see here at the images, it shows you during the occurrence of the impact and after the recovery. So the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which we call as NOAA, will provide you a emergency response imagery, and these real-time aerial photographs are post-disaster, offering immediate insights into the affected areas. So this could be explored due to the we'll get an interactive detail which will help us to mitigate the effects that will happen in the real manner. So the next is AI powered change detection that will enhance the response. Advanced vision language models such as those employed by the Eagle View will help us to analyze the high resolution multi-angle aerial imagery with unprecedented precision. So this will help us to automatically detect the structural damage, and also which will also help us to rapidly identify or the accurate affected areas, and then we can provide them with the emergency services to prioritize the rescue and relief operations during the impact of disaster. So here an example of this tornado damage near Omaha has shown in this images as an AI powered change detection enhanced response. So with this we can identify the building resilience. So what we have to do and what are the tools. So here as an ongoing technological background, what we are gonna do in the sense, will engage in local planning, will participate in the local hazard mitigation, will plan to reduce the community-wide risk and unlock vital funding for protective measures. We will also use the GIS tools, that is, will utilize a geographical information system tools for identifying the response program for enhanced situational awareness and informed decision making during the occurrence of disaster. The third stage is educate and engage the community preparedness through the resources such as Stop Disasters Game, a culture of resilience. And the final stage is going to be the collective action. By combining proactive strategies with cutting edge technology and collaborative efforts, we can empower the safer and more resilient futures for everyone. So these are some kinds of things that comes under the mitigation programs, where we can also incorporate the recent technological background like GIS and disaster response program, and also the AI categories, which will help us to mitigate the effects that is going to happen in the near future due to the occurrence of disaster. So these are the things that I have prepared for today's class. See you at the next class. If you guys have any kind of doubt or anything, ping me anytime. Thank you.